Welcome to the Determined Mom Show, the only marketing podcast dedicated to guiding mom CEOs into tranquility, wealth, and multiplying those precious moments. On today's episode of the Determined Mom Show, we have a very special guest, Alessandra Polina. So she is the owner of the Pollina PR firm, and she has so much experience in PR and helping her clients to really get that exposure and things that maybe they don't even think of. We had a conversation about it during the pre-call, and it was amazing, all of the things that she was saying that she can do for people and help people with. So I'm so happy to have her on the show. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. So the first thing that I always love to ask is I love to know how you got started working from home, or I know you have an office now and I know you have a whole big setup, which is amazing. And we all are striving to get there. But how did you start?
Yeah, it's not so big right now, but it did. Yeah, I started over 7 years ago, and I just got my first true office space last year. So I definitely was, and I still kind of consider myself a work from home because I still can do my work at home whenever I want. I mean, there's still that flexibility. But I started a long time ago. I started before I had kids, and working from home was a lot easier. There was no reason not to work from home. But yeah, I started, it was about 7.5 years ago, I guess now, from when we're recording this. Mm-hmm. And I was doing PR for a really small firm already, and had built up a lot of experience, even though I started the business within a year of graduating college, but I had taken advantage of so many internships and opportunities throughout college and just afterwards that I had experience working in multiple different settings, multiple different companies, agencies, and in-house, and all types of different, big, small. And so I had a pretty good sense of what I liked and what I didn't like, mm-hmm. and had, the experience and even the contacts that I needed for basically starting my own business. So my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, was like, why don't you just start taking on your own clients and do this by yourself? And so that's kind of what I did. I just started with, one, and was still doing work at this other place, and which I know you can't always do. So just be very transparent. They were really supportive. It was basically the person who owned that company is now still a very good friend, and was very supportive with, if you want to take on some clients on the side, that's fine. If, they're not ones that you would do through this company. Yeah. So I started from there and did it at home for a long time, and had my son 5 years ago, and it's shifted a lot over the time and since then. So until we are today, we're, still doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I would say you were very fortunate to be with a company that would be supportive of you at that time, because I see so many horror stories about people who, their company instantly fires them if they find out that they're working outside, or, there's all those non-compete clauses and things that people have to sign. So I think it's awesome that you were able to do that.
Yeah, I think it kind of people are like, how did you do that? So young, and so, it takes such a big leap and this and that. But I was extremely fortunate in that it really wasn't that big of a leap for me at the time, which is what made it possible, I think. I mean, not that it wouldn't have been possible otherwise, but it made it a lot easier. So I think that was really, really lucky.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, what a blessing, and what a great way to get started to basically just continue doing what you love and not have to figure out something new. I know a lot of us that got started kind of as a way to leave our other job, kind of. I mean, I got started because I didn't want to go back after my maternity leave. And so I was like, I got to figure out something that I can do, Yeah. So it's awesome that you were already kind of in that space and knew what you liked too, because there's a lot of trial and error that goes into not knowing.
Yeah. And I think one of the things too is with PR and most forms of marketing, it is a really conducive business for working from home, or starting your own thing, even if it is on the side or as a smaller projects here and there, because of the type of work and how you can just work with, one client if you want to. And most of the stuff you'd be doing, you could do at home at night, even, like I used to go to the job in the day and then do my client stuff at night and, just schedule emails to send in the morning or whatever. So it looked like I was working during working hours or whatever. Like I could just kind of do it all. And it worked out well because I think partly the industry and the type of work.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. So tell us a little bit about PR, and then I want to jump right into your topic. So what is PR? And your topic is definitely why do you need PR, how to use it, increase visibility for your brand. And I want to know all of those things. And I know that our listeners probably do too, because PR is something that we always hear. What is that one show? I can't remember what that one show. There's a show that I watched that's like all about a PR firm and, and like, what is it? Like, I think that's a kind of an elusive thing, because when we think of PR, we think of like this big firm in New York and they're doing all this stuff for huge companies, but PR in our small, tiny mom-owned businesses. Let us know.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it can vary. Definitely, like a lot of big businesses offer a lot of services. And I consider my company, I say a full service PR and marketing agency because, so basically I'll start from the beginning. PR is basically a piece of the larger marketing puzzle. And mostly when like a company says they're hiring a PR firm, they're hiring someone to get them in the news, to get them featured in the media. So PR can encompass and does encompass a lot of other components too. And a lot of them do overlap a lot with marketing. So like at a PR firm, we might also do things like, help throw events and help with cross promotion relationships or social media marketing or social media collaborations, things like that, and even other forms of direct marketing, like helping with digital campaigns and things like that. But for the most part, like when people say they want PR or that they're hiring a PR agency, or really what I mean when I say that I specialize in PR is really like the media relations side of things. So technically, public relations is anytime you're relating with your publics. So that's why it can be some of that direct, some people would consider the direct marketing part of that too, because obviously those people are your publics, your audiences. But for the most part, we're thinking about the media. So how are we relating with the media to get them to want to write about your brand or, include you in some way in the articles or the pieces that they're putting together. So it's different than a lot of like, your regular marketing that you might be doing, especially like, with like a lot of online businesses and home-based businesses and things like just what we've been seeing a lot pop up in the last couple of years. I feel like people are pretty savvy with their direct marketing. We all know we need an email list and, you're probably doing your social media marketing and reaching those people and trying to get them to buy from you. But the difference is that PR is reaching people who are not already on your list. Yeah. So you have less control over it. You're putting yourself out there and asking basically for people to write about you or your brand, include you in stories, write stories about what you're doing and what you're offering and things like that. And you don't have the control over how it comes out. You're not actually writing the pieces yourself and you're not paying for the pieces. So it's different from advertising. A lot of people come to me and they're like, if you see if someone comes to you with a PR opportunity, and that's in air quotes, and they, and it will be $150, that's not PR, that's advertising. They're asking you to advertise on their website or whatever it may be. And maybe they're trying to couch it as, it's going to be an advertorial or something where it's going to look like an article or look like something else, look like a legitimate shout out. But if you're paying for it, it's advertising. And that means you have say over what it says, what it looks like. You get to have them direct, a link to your website or whatever you want them to do because you're paying for it. But people can tell that that's not really authentic. So the difference is that PR is earned media. So you put yourself out there and provide all the information as to what a story could be and why people would care. But then the writer or, the publisher, the editor, whatever, wants to do a piece and they put it together based on their own thoughts in their own words. And it's editorial. So you don't have a say over how it comes out, but it comes across a lot more authentically.
Yeah. Okay. So, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a great explanation. And that really cleared up a lot of questions that I have. And, I can see the need for it. My question is, do you primarily work with like brick and mortar businesses? Do you work with a lot of online businesses? And is there
a need for online businesses to do PR?
Yeah, I mean, it's a mix. I work with a mix. I do work with a lot of brick and mortar. I think the main thing to keep in mind is that a lot of people don't necessarily start out their business with a marketing budget in mind, which is a huge mistake, I think, in almost every case. Although, I mean, with a lot of online businesses, like you really can get started by yourself, as long as you can get a couple of clients, like you can have your business up and running, and that might be fine. But if you do need to be reaching larger audiences or want to set yourself up as more of a, key player in your space, then you do need to be planning to do marketing and some kind of PR probably. But yeah, a lot of online people don't, but you can do a lot of it by yourself too. And that's kind of what I usually do preach. I think most people would benefit from it. And like the one caveat is you have to be putting out something authentic and unique. Like I do kind of always say, like if you're in an MLM business or you're kind of reselling a product that you're not creating yourself, then that's really tricky because you're basically promoting something that you didn't invent, and nobody's going to want to do an article on that because they'd rather talk to the person who actually invented the product or started the overall company. So that's the one kind of little caveat I try to add in there. But yeah, if you have an online business and you could benefit from having building your reputation or having a wider audience, reaching a wider audience, then yes, it can be beneficial. And I think a lot of the times, actually, it's almost more important to differentiate yourself in those ways when you have an online business and maybe don't have those same personal connections or, don't have those, you're not building your business through like in-person, networking opportunities that you might find where you're meeting people in person who want to work with you and things like that. Because the great thing about PR is if you get featured in something, then you have those links. You can share those. It helps with your Google results. All of those things that then feed into all of the other online marketing that you're probably already doing or want to do. Yeah. Like this just helps with that. And it helps elevate that and make that stuff all more successful.
Okay. That's awesome. I love it. So how do we use it and basically increase our visibility?
Yeah. Well, I think the main thing to keep in mind is, maybe revisiting back to like one of the differences and one of the reasons that it's so great is that the opportunity that it provides is for you to reach a much wider audience because you're going to be getting in front of hundreds of thousands of people or who have, however many people read this thing or watch the show or whatever it is, listen to your podcast episode, that counts, pitching yourself for a podcast. And that can be a great place to start, by the way. So you're reaching all of those people. And I think one thing maybe that I should also, don't let me go on a tangent about this, but one thing that I point out is that the one thing that you have to just kind of keep in mind in terms of mindset, like if you have kind of gotten into like the online marketing, you're used to doing your own like marketing and you might have honed into your ideal client avatar and you think you're only talking directly to that person and everything you put out should be relating to them. And with PR, it's a little different. And so that's like a little bit of a mindset shift. You're not necessarily going to be reaching only those people. So you need a message that might go a little bit beyond that, and don't get too caught up in feeling like you have to be only reaching your ideal audience. Because with media, especially with more traditional media, like the audience is just not that targeted. So you're going to be reaching a ton of people, and a smaller portion of them are actually going to be your actual, ideal audience, and the people who are going to be interested and come find you. And that's fine. That's still going to be way more people than you'd be reaching otherwise. But and there are obviously, like, especially these days, websites and, publications that are super targeted and focused. Yeah. You can find plenty of publications that specifically cater towards mom work from home business owners even. So like those are a great place to start. But I don't want you to think that you should only be pitching those places because those are the ones that, your audience is reading. There's no reason that you shouldn't pitch some local publications if you're running a local business, or even if you're an online business, but you live in a certain town that might be interested in doing a story about how this, mom business owners, or how you've started this business that impacts people around the world, or whatever it is. So yeah, a local publication, it's going to be reaching tons of people who are not, your ideal client. Yeah. But that's still a great audience for you to be reaching. That still builds your clout. That still builds your reputation. That's still a link that you can put on, online and have direct towards you, and helps tell your story. And it's a link you can direct people to find out more information about you if once they've already kind of maybe found you in another way. So it's not even necessarily just the way of discovering you initially, but also just building up your conversation with people once they've kind of already found you but haven't maybe decided to buy yet, or haven't decided to sign on for your services. But the more that they can find out about you, the more they're going to feel like they get to know you.
Yeah.
So yeah, just keeping in mind that like it's a wider audience, but that's what's great about it. And you never know who, maybe your ideal client is work from home moms, but if you're in an article that, is, you're in like the Wall Street Journal or something that that's obviously kind of a stretch, but maybe you're hitting businessmen on a train on the way to work. But you know what? A lot of them have wives. They all have moms. Like a lot of them have sisters. Like and you can't underestimate the power of that kind of word of mouth that can then come from your first initial media outreach and media coverage.
Yeah.
So it all like works as a larger piece of your marketing.
That's awesome. It's almost like a ripple effect. Like when you throw a pebble, it just keeps going.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you want. And that's why media attention, once you do secure it, like it can have effects for, months, years, even. But what was the other thing that you were asking, like how to actually make it work? I think, I'll go back to, it comes back to the know, like, and trust factor, which again, like you're probably familiar with if you're doing your own marketing in general. So you're trying to reach people, people are always like, well, I have 250 people on my email list, or, I have 500 people on my social media following, but, I'm not getting enough sales for, to sustain my business, or I'm not, signing that many clients. And that makes sense because, well, you're only going to get, a small percentage of the people who follow you to actually buy or sign on, especially, a certain amount of time, maybe years down the line, somebody else is going to. But it's like, how do you reach more people? You need to be reaching more people, not just the people who already know about you and have already chosen to follow you. But we know that those things, getting people on your email list, getting people in like your social media following so that they're seeing you every day, that's what helps build up that know, like, and trust factor. That's getting them to know you more and getting them to trust you so that when they are ready to buy or to sign on someone for the services you offer, they'll pick you over someone else who maybe offers something similar, right? So it's a very similar thing where, you trust if you see, like, if your husband does tell you they saw something great in this article and you should look it up, you're going to look it up, right?
Yeah. And
similar thing when you see something. So if you see an article about a brand in a publication that you read every month, or, by a writer who you follow and, their stuff and you trust them already, it's kind of like you're jumping in on that trust factor already. So somebody reads an article written by a writer that they already follow, or a publication that they already follow. They follow it for a reason. It's because they care about what they say, they believe, and probably agree with a lot of the things that they write about. They're the people who go out and try something because it was featured in that publication. And that's because they already they've gotten to that know, like, and trust factor with the publication itself, even if not you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They already know when they see you there, they want to check you out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And you're kind of coming out on top before you even start, giving your actual message to them, right?
Exactly. So then when they come to find, they see you there and then they go to your website or go to your Instagram or whatever, they're going to follow and they already feel like they have a reason to trust you. And now they just have to kind of, maybe build that conversation a little more with you. It's not like they're necessarily going to buy immediately, but a certain percentage of them will, just because they saw, the publication say that they should, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And then a certain other percentage of them are going to stick around and follow you, and they've joined your community now. So then once they, certain people take longer to actually, convert, obviously, but then they're part of your marketing mix going forward. And that's a way of adding a tremendous amount to your existing lists and have that go further.
That's awesome. I love it. Do you have anything that you would like to share with our audience, like any type of thing that would help them get started in PR, doing their own PR, or if you have any type of openings or anything like that we can kind of tap into and they can tap into in order to get started?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of resources on my website, which is pollinapr.com. I'm sure you'll have that somewhere.
Yep, we'll have it in the notes.
Okay. So on there, I have a lot of just like articles that go into a lot of depth on kind of just the blog section. And then I have some really low priced templates and things on there too. And then I do also have a whole DIY course for if anybody is like really wants to jump into this by themselves and wants to carry out PR for their brand by themselves. This just walks you through like literally everything that I do for a client. And yeah, so that's a really helpful resource if you want to jump in and do this yourself, because I know not everybody wants to hire someone, but still wants to take some steps to do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is like the thing about PR, especially if you're, you know, a mom business owner and you're savvy enough to have started your business and be running a business. And especially if you're like already probably doing most of your own marketing, is that you can do, like, there's no reason that you can't do PR if you can do your other forms of marketing. And that's the thing, like, I think people sometimes feel like it's harder or like that there's something more to it. And it's really not. Like, if you're savvy enough to do everything else, you're savvy enough to do this. You just kind of need, I know people need to like kind of be walked through like, okay, but what should I do when, and how should it look? And
what should I write? That's my thing.
So that's like what I help with in that sense. And because, the other thing is just time. So if, you know, you stay up 20 minutes after the kids go to bed once a week and you can bang out a lot of it on your own. So
yeah. Well, that's awesome. I love it. Okay. So you can find her website in the show notes and you will be able to access all of her goodies that she has there. And you'll also be able to access her. So if you want to hire her for your PR, her firm, you can definitely do that. So awesome. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience?
I mean, I would just say, like, I think, again, don't be scared off by the idea of PR. Don't be scared off by the fact that you have heard that people hire huge firms for thousands of dollars a month. And, you know, it doesn't have to be out of reach. People can do PR you can do it for yourself. You can do it for a really reasonable rate if you do want to pay someone, depending on who you find. And even if you just start out by reaching out to 1 or 2 writers, you know, this month or even this quarter, like, that's something, you know, if you can get into 1 or 2 articles like a month or a quarter, that's huge. Yeah. So I just don't want people to be too discouraged. You know, look up 1 or 2 writers who are writing about, you know, your space. Think about what types of things you'd like to really get out there about your brand and things that you could really contribute to in these types of publications that you're reading. And just follow those writers for a little while and see what, follow them literally on social media, follow them in their publication, looking up when they put out a new article, get to know them and what they're writing about. And then once you feel comfortable enough with them, just send them an email. And, you know, I almost think don't even use the word pitch, you know?
Yeah.
That's what's scary. People are like, a pitch, I don't know how to do a pitch. I don't know what to do for a pitch. Write them an email about your ideas and why your idea makes sense right now for their publication and how you specifically can help tell that story, or, you know, offer the information or the quotes or the stats or whatever would help round out a story about that type of topic. And just go from there. The worst that happens is they say no or don't reply at all, and you're exactly where you were today before you did it. So
that's awesome. Okay. I love that advice. That's doable.
Exactly. Keep it, just feel small and manageable. And I think that's the best place to start.
Okay, perfect. So one last question. What is your favorite thing about being able to work from home? Like, let's say your son is sick from school, homesick from school. What is your favorite thing about being able to be there and work from home?
I mean, I think it is what you just said, like the fact that I can stay home with, I was going to say, like, he's been sick so much this year already, like being able to stay home and not feel like I'm going to get behind in things or be super stressed out about, you know, not doing work. Like, I can still do everything I need to do, but also I can take the time off if I want to. If I want to just spend the afternoon with him because he's sick, like, I can do that. And yeah, just that flexibility, just being able to, you know, pick him up from school or take him to something, you know, in the afternoon when otherwise you'd be stuck in an office. So I think that's just the best.
Okay. Awesome. I love it. Okay. So you can find Alessandra at the website in the show notes. And I thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of your PR wisdom with the audience. It's amazing.
Thank you so much for having me. I definitely hope people reach out if they have any questions.
Okay, I'm sure they will. Our audience is amazing. So, and she is also a member of the podcast community. So if you'd like to connect with her directly on there, you can as well. So, all right. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Are you looking to reach customers you've never reached before? Are you looking to increase your sales? If you are, I have the solution for you. Join our one-day summit on how to increase your revenue with Google My Business. This powerful free tool can maximize your revenue and give you access to customers that are searching for your product or your service exactly when they need it. You'll find out what Google My Business is, why you need to use it, how you can increase your revenue, how much time you need to invest, how to get more reviews, how to respond to reviews, and also how to take amazing pictures for your business with your cell phone. I'm partnering together with Travis Kieran from My Review Revolution and Angie Witten from Harmony Photography. This exclusive limited time one-day summit will help you increase your revenue and your understanding of what your customers are really searching for. To register and get instant access, please visit thedeterminedmom.com/revenue.